They're putting bombs around in our communities.
Got the bomber, got the bomber.
This is the culmination of 3 very long weeks for our community.
Live from Dallas and Fort Worth, this is CBS 11 News at 4. The ones for Texas.
A string of terror ends in the Texas state capitol. Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Molestina.
And I'm Gilma Avalos. Austin bombing suspect Mark Condit detonated his own device, dying in a showdown with police on the side of I-35. We have a team of reporters working to cover all aspects of this story. Ginger Allen has more on the investigation that led law enforcement to Condit, and we have several crews down in Central Texas.
Let's go ahead and start off with J.D. Miles. He is live in Austin, near where all of this came to a dramatic end. J.D.?
Ken, this is where it all came to an end, right here on this service road along I-35 in Round Rock, which, as you can see, is back to normal after being shut down for a few hours. Austin police tell us quite candidly they weren't prepared this morning, early this morning, to make an arrest, as you'll see from the video of how all this went down. From the air, you can see 2 white vans with blacked out windows that cornered and collided with the suspect's red SUV shortly after midnight. Officers found Mark Condit's vehicle while doing surveillance of a nearby motel parking lot. They wanted to wait for armored SWAT vehicles to arrive before approaching the suspected bomber. But the chief says when Condit went on the move, they had to act. 2 officers approached, one fired when he saw a flash inside the vehicle. The other was blown back by it. That flash turned out to be, as we know, an explosive device that police say Condit used to kill himself and avoid being taken into custody alive. Authorities found Condit from a trail of evidence that started with these security camera images from a FedEx office store where he mailed 2 package bombs that were discovered yesterday. City leaders praised police for their thorough and relentless investigation.
On behalf of an incredibly thankful community, I just want to say thank you. And if you would pass that on to the men and women that you work with.
Coming up at 5, hear from the FBI about their concerns that there may be still more victims. Live in Austin, J.D. Miles, CBS 11 News.
Spelling. M as in Mary, I, L as in Lincoln, A, N as in Nora, O, W, S.
Hey, I'm Jason Allen. We are here in Pflugerville right now, and they are just about to start a news conference here. We'll go ahead and listen in from the ATF and FBI.
Our final speaker will be Special Agent in Charge of the San Antonio Division of the FBI.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to Pflugerville, Texas. I've got some information to share. I want to thank everybody for their patience. First of all, I want to let everybody know that for the last several hours, explosive experts have been from the FBI, ATF offices working to safely remove and dispose of homemade explosives located inside of a residence in Pflugerville, Texas, and that address is 403 North 2nd Street. 403 North 2nd Street. Now, these federal agencies have been working around the clock with local and other federal agencies. Law enforcement have not left this investigation. They have left their families in order to keep our communities safe, and we're working together. I want to ensure the citizens of Pflugerville and those in adjoining jurisdictions that the reason that we evacuated for a 5-block radius was for their safety, to allow these law enforcement agencies to do their job. What we're going to do soon is we're going to shrink that perimeter a few blocks, and you will see police officers and barricades coming up to the Railroad, Walnut, and 2nd Street areas. It will take several hours to process the scene, and I know that we have asked every resident in that perimeter to leave their home. That was a difficult task, but that's how much we cared about their safety. Ladies and gentlemen, patience is going to have to work for us here. We know everybody wants to go home. We know everybody wants to eat dinner with their families, and we want that for you. but we also want to assure that you can sleep safe tonight. So we need to let these agencies do their job. I will ask the Pflugerville residents to go to their library or their recreation center, which is open till 9 o'clock tonight, if you don't have another place to go to, and we will help you. We anticipate several hours. I can't give you a time limit right now because the situation is fluid. We will also be putting information on our city website and updating as soon as we can clear the perimeter and let everyone come home. And that is on pflugervilletx.gov. At this time, Pflugerville City Hall was closed down. It's part of the inner perimeter, and I need people to know that. And we will be taking some questions in a few minutes. So I'm going to let the other gentleman from the federal agency speak. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Fred Milanoski with ATF. We continue to have unprecedented cooperation between law enforcement agencies. At the residence, there was bomb technicians from the FBI, from Austin Police Department, from ATF. They have cleared the house of any completed devices. And so now we have the ATF National Response Team processing the evidence in the house. That team has responded to every significant bombing in America for the last 40 years. They bring a wealth of information and experience. There is components in there. We've talked about the bomb maker and his signature and how we were able to tell that the same individual manufactured all these devices. There is componentry in there that makes us believe, have a high degree of certainty, that it is the same components that we have found in all the other devices. There is also some potential homemade explosives, and so we had to address that. And our biggest concern was to make sure that nobody else gets hurt, whether it's first responders, whether it's the neighbors. So we apologize for any inconvenience, but our whole goal here was to make sure that we have no other people hurt in this investigation. We're not done with this investigation. It will continue. ATF, FBI resources will stay in town until we have completed and turned over every rock in this investigation. So we will not be leaving town, and we want to make sure there's no other devices out in the public. We have a reasonable level of certainty that there are no other devices in the public, but we still want the public to be vigilant. The public has been very cooperative so far in this investigation. We want to continue to report to their 911 centers if they see anything that's suspicious. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to echo what Fred said and make sure that the public maintains their vigilance. There could be other packages out there. We think we're on top of this, but we just don't know. So for the next couple of days, we want to continue that messaging of be careful when you see things suspicious, to call it in immediately. I'd like to thank the Pflugerville Police Chief. Pflugerville Police have been fantastic on this scene. It's a lot when 500 federal agents come in and kind of invade an area, and we have had nothing but cooperation from our state and local partners through this whole thing. We will have those resources here for as long as it takes. We're working very hard on this scene. We've made the scene safe. We're still working some other scenes, and we will make sure everything is safe. We collect all the evidence that we need before we leave Texas. I'd like to thank everyone for their cooperation. I'd like to thank the media for helping us getting out the messages of safety, the reward that we put up out there, and all the help that you've given us throughout this entire endeavor. I really want to thank the FBI people, the ATF people. We got 500 agents that we've pulled in from all over the country. With spring break, we ruined everybody's spring break, but the most important thing is people were dying and people were getting hurt, and we had to move those resources. We have moved considerable federal resources here to the Austin area to get on top of this quickly and to make sure that we could stop these bombs from continuing. It's a massive effort. You haven't seen an effort like this in many, many years. And I just want to thank everyone that we've called up to come here, to leave their families, and to work so hard to keep Texas safe. Thank you very much.
How many devices were found?
Agent Combs, what's the status in regards to the investigation of additional suspects and the 2 roommates?
So I can't get into investigative details right now because we're really still in that. I can tell you that we're looking at any associates that the subject might have had to make sure this is singular in nature, and there are other people that knew about this, but that continues.
Let's ask him her question.
All right, so we have been listening in now to this most recent news conference from both federal authorities as well as local authorities down in Pflugerville, the site of the bombing suspect's house, which the house we hear now has just been cleared of other bombing devices that were found inside.
That's right.